Throughout time, people across the world told each other tales of how they came to be, of heroes and monsters, romance and tragedy, death and rebirth. Mythology helped shape the ancient world, explaining the unexplainable. This is Mythology Unleashed. The United States of America is a diverse nation, spanning the length of a continent, and having a particularly eventful history. Being a melting pot of culture, and having a rich tapestry of natural landscapes, provides fertile soil for American folklore to imagine a plethora of strange creatures and monsters of all shapes and sizes. Fearsome critters, survivors of bygone eras, creatures that straddle the living and mortal worlds, and more than a few freaks of nature are said to lurk in both urban and rural areas of the country. Some who prey upon the unsuspecting, some who torment and frighten, and some who just wish to be left alone. This program will discuss some of the strangest, eeriest, and most mystifying monsters of American folklore. North America has no shortage of large predatory animals, but none are as powerful and vicious as the Wampus cat. Though it varies in appearance from region to region, the most common depiction is that of a large puma, but with 6 legs instead of 4. Given its additional limbs, the Wampus cat can move at an unnatural speed and jump great distances. And with more claws, the creature is an effective climber and deadly in close quarters. The Wampus cat's origins are shrouded in mystery, as its legend changes from region to region. According to one legend, a Cherokee woman witnessed a sacred rite being performed, whilst hiding beneath a puma pelt. Upon discovery, she was cursed and transformed by a shaman into a feline monster, doomed to roam the hills forever, howling desolately, yearning to be returned to her normal body. But whatever its origin story, rumored sightings of the Wampus cat have circulated throughout the Appalachian area and surrounding states for more than 100 years, frequently being the scapegoat for dead livestock and destroyed property. Eldorado Canyon of Colorado is said to be a haven for ghostly activity, and not just spirits of deceased people, but even animals, namely the hell dogs. During the time when the area acted as a mining colony, many prospectors kept dogs at their claim sites to protect their property, trained to attack at the slightest trespass by strangers. The dogs were made to be feral and extremely vicious. Many of these dogs would end up being killed by rivals, left chained at the claim site to die, or released into the wild when the gold played out and the miners left the area. But in the years that followed, numerous tales of sightings of these many spectral hounds have been told by exploring visitors and locals alike. A few even tell of being attacked by these ferocious canine apparitions. One story relates how 2 brothers went exploring in one of the abandoned mines of the canyon. They stumbled upon canine skeletal remains and a rusted iron chain, but no ghost dogs to be found. However, that very night, the air grew thick and hard to breathe, and in a heartbeat, the 2 brothers were set upon by the hell dogs. The sound of paws circling the campsite, scratching noises from the mine shaft, and the chain rattling echoed through the night. One of the brothers pointed a flashlight toward the chain where scratch marks and bloodstains could be seen on the surface of the rock. Suddenly, the chain dropped, and one of the brothers felt something brush against his leg before both made a dash for their car. As the brothers drove out of the canyon, they could still hear wild panting and canine footsteps that kept pace with them for several miles. Towards the east of New Orleans lies a fabled road that leads to the home of a group of hidden folk and their monstrous protector, the Grunches. In the early 1800s, there was a group of societal outcasts afflicted with cases of albinism and dwarfism, and due to their appearance, were shunned by the rest of society, driven deep into the forest. Their mistreatment from society, coupled with the unrelenting fury of the wild, was said to devolve them into creatures that scarcely resembled human beings. From their lairs in the woods, they were said to steal livestock, namely goats, kidnap people, and even engage in cannibalism. The legend goes on to say that they made sacrifices to the devil in order to gain a protector, a beast that resembles a deformed reptilian goat with leathery skin, a row of back spines, and glowing eyes. Like Chupacabra of Latin American folklore, the beast of Grunch Road is said to drain the blood of livestock and even people. Though the location of Grunch Road and the origins of the Grunches and their beast is widely debated, the story remains one of the most popular and chilling. What is something that's more terrifying than a carnivorous beast with a fearsome appearance? How about a carnivorous beast whose appearance nobody knows for sure? Enter the Hide-Behind. Hailing from campfire stories told by lumberjacks, the Hide-Behind is a nocturnal ambush predator and a master of stealthy approaches and getaways. When on the hunt, the Hide-Behind would follow its prey closely and quickly hide behind the nearest tree or boulder before its quarry could turn around to see it. Hence how the monster earned the name Hide-Behind. Once the Hide-Behind would be close enough, it would attack and subdue its prey, dragging it back to its lair and dining exclusively on the victim's entrails. Due to its habit of hiding behind objects while hunting, being active primarily at night, and with no one surviving an encounter with the creature, no one truly knows what the Hide-Behind looks like, though it is assumed to be a particularly large creature with dark fur, allowing it to easily subdue prey without much resistance, and blend in with the nighttime world. Though a deadly monster, the Hide-Behind is said to have a strong aversion to the smell of alcohol. Not all creatures of American legend are said to prey on people. Some may just be downright strange-looking. One such creature is the Jackalope of Wyoming. As its name suggests, the Jackalope is essentially a large jackrabbit with a pair of antlers growing out of the top of its head. Brown in color, weighing 3 to 5 pounds, and capable of moving at speeds of up to 90 miles per hour. Said to be a rare animal, even by mythical creature standards, the Jackalope is said to be incredibly difficult to hunt, partly due to its great speed and extreme rarity. But the Jackalope's secret weapon is its uncanny ability to mimic human sounds, and when chased, will use these abilities to elude capture. The legend of the Jackalope was perpetuated by Douglas Herrick, a taxidermist of Douglas, Wyoming. In 1939, it is said that Herrick and his brother had fastened a small pair of antlers to a rabbit they had shot, and mounted it up on a wall. From there, the Jackalope's fame was born, and the pair of brothers began to sell them to the public. Before long, they could be found all over the American West. Jackalope postcards became a popular Western souvenir. The Jackalopes of Douglas, Wyoming, became so popular that by the late 1940s, the city had proclaimed itself as the Jackalope capital of the world, promoting the self-proclaimed title in various tourism advertising. From the north woods of Wisconsin came stories of the Hodag, a creature noted for its alien appearance and mischievous cunning, said to be born from the ashes of cremated oxen, as the incarnation of the accumulation of abuse the animals had suffered at the hands of their masters. First spotted in 1893 by Eugene Shepard, who claimed the creature had the head of a frog, the grinning face of an elephant, and thick short legs ending with huge claws, its back resembling a dinosaur complete with a long tail covered in spears, with green eyes, large fangs, and 2 prominent horns on its head. As the story goes, Shepard was out on a hunting trip when he encountered the beast, and attempted to subdue it with his dogs. After a lengthy battle, one which allegedly involved the use of a stick of dynamite as a last resort, the Hodag had escaped. This would only be the first of many, many alleged encounters Shepard would have with this bizarre freak of nature. Shepard went on to supposedly capture the Hodag, and displayed the creature in a dimly lit tent at the Oneida County Fair in 1896. In time, Shepard was forced to admit that his Hodag was in fact an elaborate hoax, made of wood and tanned hides, given a beastly smell and puppeteered by his family. Though Shepard's creature may have been little more than a sham, people have allegedly seen a creature of similar description in the Northwoods area, and the Hodag would go on to feature in a number of stories of Paul Bunyan. The legend of Bigfoot is one that is spread far throughout North America, yet varies from region to region. In the Deep South, particularly within the Florida Everglades, a variation of Bigfoot is referred to as the skunk ape. As with the common depiction of Bigfoot, the skunk ape is essentially a large, hairy man with ape-like features and eyes that seem to glow in the dark, a possible link between mankind and the great apes. But the sole factor that distinguishes the skunk ape from other Bigfoot creatures is its immensely foul odor, hence the name skunk ape. The skunk ape's stench has been compared to rotting cabbage, stagnant water, roadkill, and of course a skunk spray. Though no concrete evidence of the beast's existence is available, more and more people in the state of Florida have come forward, claiming to have witnessed the skunk ape, roaming through the swamps, raiding dumpsters, and destroying property. Skeptics, however, believe that the skunk ape may just be a misidentification, or just sheer imagination. The concept of werewolves and man-wolf monsters is widespread throughout the world, and the United States is no different. And one such example is Dwayyo of Maryland. Dwayyo is described as having dark fur covering its entire body, a long, bushy tail, and a wolf-like head and snout, but is capable of standing upright like a human being and utilizing its forelegs like arms. The first mention of the name Dwayyo comes from a sighting in 1944 in West Middleton, Frederick County, Maryland. Witnesses claim that they heard a creature making frightful screams and footprints that were attested to the claims of the sighting. However, the tale did not come to prominence until an article in the Frederick News Post on November 27, 1965 was published, detailing an account of the creature. The article reads that a man under the alias of John Becker went out in his yard one evening to investigate a strange noise. He had started back to his house when he saw a huge figure moving toward him. It was as large as a bear, had long black fur, a bushy tail, and growled like an angry wolf. As it got closer, it stood up on its hind legs and attacked him. Becker fought off the creature until it ran into the woods, leaving him and his family horrified. When Becker made the call to the police, he referred to his canine attacker as the Dueo. As the 1960s and 70s progressed, more and more reports of a bipedal wolfman like the one Becker had encountered were reported, and the Dueo's legend spread throughout Maryland. Interestingly, though, the Dueo is said to not only have encounters with the populace, but also another cryptid. According to folklore, the Dueo's mortal enemy is the Snallygaster, a flying, reptilian, cockatrice-like monster said to haunt the same region that the Dueo calls its hunting ground. Our final creature of American folklore is the Banshee of the Badlands. Badlands National Park in South Dakota is a labyrinth of rocky formations that stretches for miles, a product of thousands of years of deposition and erosion. And throughout this stone maze, the cries of the Banshee echo, chilling even the bravest of souls to their marrow. Unlike the Banshee of Celtic mythology, whose presence and mournful wails are said to herald the death of someone, the Banshee of the Badlands is said to be the foreboding spirit of a woman killed by Watchdog Butte. If any who, for good or ill will, are going through the area and pass the haunted butte at night, the rocks alight with phosphor flashes, and the Banshee sweeps upon them. As if wishing to speak, or as if waiting for a question to be asked, she stands beside them in an attitude of appeal. But if she is asked what she wants, she'll flail her arms aloft with a shriek that deafens all within a mile of the cursed place. She then disappears, and an instant later is seen wringing her hands on her hilltop. Cattle will not graze near the haunted butte, and the locals know to stay clear, for the word has never been spoken that will quell the cry of the Banshee. The monsters of American folklore are many in number, seemingly without end in sight. From wailing spirits, to ape men in the forests, to dogmen in the mountains. Some may have been given life from age-old tales passed down from generation to generation. Others may be thought of as cryptids, hiding somewhere in the wilds and eluding modern sciences. Others may just be elaborate hoaxes that grew into their own legends. But at the end of the day, the monsters of American folklore, whether strange or frightening, big or small, are always fun to hear about.